This is a new SEC podcast. We're giving you a preview of Kentucky taking on South Carolina, 7:45 p.m., SEC Network. South Carolina currently favored by 6.5, and the over-under is 46.5. What are some of the big storylines for this game, and what are we thinking how this game will play out, Hunter?
Two offenses with question marks around whether they're back, whether they've improved. Now, Kentucky now naming Cutter Boley the starter. They've seen some drastic improvement when putting him at the starting position, and they're hoping to keep that going. South Carolina now coming out of the game with Missouri, where it's like, okay, our offense is starting to click a little bit. Even in a loss, they did better than they did up to that point in the season. You started seeing LaNorris Sellers throw the ball a little bit more, connect with his receivers a little bit better. So this right here is the game of maybe an offense resurgence. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's are we back offensively for both teams?
Yeah, it's definitely an are we back game for both teams. And I think, for Kentucky, they've really been looking to see this offense show up over the past couple of years. For South Carolina, it's just trying to meet the expectations when the season started. We recognize Vandrevius Jacobs from last season or from last week in his performance with 2 touchdowns at the receiver position for South Carolina. And so when you watch Sellers in that game against Missouri, although it never felt like they had full control of the game, you did see some improvement on the offensive side, like you mentioned.
Yeah, he's extremely talented. I don't think he's still not hitting full expectations that came into the season, whether those were realistic or not. I mean, right now, the touted talent of his was running the ball. He's got 35 carries for 64 yards. It could be a conspiracy, like what Beamer called it, about his usage, but it feels like he's almost playing at like 90%. I don't know if it's some sort of injury. He's just not getting outside the pocket. They're not really running him like we thought they would.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It just feels like there's something around his usage that is underdeveloped, and it could be the O-line. It could be a myriad of things, but it still isn't the South Carolina offense that we were expecting. Yeah, definitely
not the same offense we were expecting. And I think for this Kentucky team, you saw some flashes from this offense in that Ole Miss game. I think it's kind of the best example of competition compared to Eastern Michigan and in Toledo. You see Kendrick Law getting involved. You've seen Jamori Macklin getting involved. What do you think about their offense going against the South Carolina defense, which is pretty stingy and can definitely lay the lumber?
It can. I mean, you've got a good pass rush. You got some decent DBs, and especially, great tacklers all over the field. I don't know if Kentucky's offense is where it needs to be, whether it's Cutter Boley, whether it's Zach Calzada. I don't know what the status of his injury is, if this is a decision based on Cutter Boley being the guy, or if it's Zach Calzada not really being ready to go. I'm not sure it's there yet. It's still not there. I think it's 2 seasons in a row now where we see Kentucky just not being the offense that they want to be. They haven't necessarily been able to establish the run with a great running back, that if they can do that, then I think we see things differently.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? You look at the stats. Seth McGowan for Kentucky, the running back, has 6 touchdowns in the season. Some of these coming against some group of 5 competition. He's currently 9th in the SEC for yards. Want to see it really against some bigger teams, and South Carolina will be the perfect team to prove that you're going to be a bell cow runner to help control the offense and offensive flow. Yeah,
for sure. And I think South Carolina's defense doesn't provide the best opportunities to do that. They've been not broken for the most part. They did give up 29 to Missouri, but for the most part, they haven't really been scored on very often. They've done a great job at shutting down teams. It's been the offense that just keeps them on the field a lot. But I look at South Carolina offensively, and I look at Kentucky's defense. I think that South Carolina's offense will do a better job at keeping their defense not super tired. I think that South Carolina overall improves in this game, whether it's at Kentucky's fault or South Carolina's improvement. I think that South Carolina does a better job at giving their defense time to rest. Their offense does a better job just in general because of who they are developing into.
Yeah, and if you watched our preview last week, you heard me talk about the time of possession. South Carolina being one of the teams that was bottom in the country for time of possession. This is a game to show that you can really hold and maintain a drive. Want to see more from Faison at the running back position, and in this offense continue to hum. For Kentucky, this is an opportunity to prove the type of team you're going to be this season and to prove that you can compete in the SEC the way you want to. We always talk about it being a basketball school and what that may mean or may not. At the end of the day, the game's right here. You got to show up, and there is talent at the skill positions. There is some talent on the defensive side. And if Kentucky is going to win this game, it's going to come down to, forcing South Carolina's offense to make mistakes, forcing them to not get in their flow. And then this offense just holding the ball and having long drives and controlling time possession, which is what teams have been able to do against South Carolina so far this season.
Yeah. We'll see. It's the time of possession is going to be critical, especially if Kentucky can get running with Seth McGowan, with Dowdell. Like, those are two guys that should see considerable touches in this game. Like, I would expect Kentucky to continue to provide opportunities for the running backs to touch the ball. I don't think that they're ready to take Cutter Boley out there and sling it all around the field, which could skew the time of possession in Kentucky's favor. But I want to see South Carolina start to develop into the offense that we think that they could be, establish the run. That's my key to the game for both teams. Who establishes here, I think it burns the clock. I think we see that reflected in the over-under here. And I think we sit kind of right on that line with my prediction in this game, that we kind of sit right around that 47-point line.
It's a fun line, if you're trying to win some money on a Saturday night. It might not be the one you want to touch. And I agree with you. It's going to come down to the line of scrimmage play. I was watching the South Carolina-Missouri game last week, and I remember seeing a stat. It was like -7 yards rushing for South Carolina to Missouri's 229. Don't think that Kentucky has the running power to do 200 plus, but they're going to give Seth some attempts, right? He's got 51 attempts in the season, 6th most in the conference. It's going to come down to who can run. I'm going to say South Carolina. I think that's a pretty obvious pick in this game. I'm going to say 21-17. But what's your final prediction?
Yeah, you got Kentucky covering. I'm going to take South Carolina to cover in this game, 20-27. I think that they turn it around. They get another win in the SEC column here, which they drastically need right now, 0-2 in the SEC. And I like South Carolina here.
That's what we think. So if you're a Kentucky fan, you're a South Carolina fan, you're an SEC fan, if you like content like this, game previews, game recaps, we do our SEC Team of the Week, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're rocking and rolling this season, having a good time, and this is going to be one of the best weeks of college football. And so, as always, I'm Randall Dett Jr. We got Hunter Ziesman here, and until next time.